So I'm speaking from experience this morning about instant manifestation. And that I was Geraldine Mary Monica Marnie before I became Geraldine Tegelov. A fair bit of Irish in the blood, so green today, definitely. So instant manifestation. Is it possible? Of course it is. Has it always been possible? Of course it has. And I think, as Bill spoke about it this morning, the only thing that stops it, of course, is our belief in it and whether we can actually bring it about in our lives or whether we can't. Now, I'm going to take a little step back here and we're going to have a look at quantum physics this morning. Sounds very exciting, doesn't it? The in term, I think, today is the field, or the quantum field. And when I first heard this term, being me, of course, I conjured up in my imagination the most beautiful golden wheat field with, wheat waving in the gentle breeze and listening to the song of the wind and of the sheaves of wheat. And I was in heaven. And then I read the next line of the book where it said, quantum physicists see it as a wave of nothingness. So I kind of thought, really, do they not have an ounce of imagination in their bones? But it's also great to see that science and spirituality are actually now coming together. And so many of the things that we have believed in for so long are now being proved in a way that we can all go, yeah, this is right. It is possible. Anything's possible, using the very special gifts that we've been given. So quantum physicists are now telling us if we can connect with this beautiful quantum wave of infinite possibility, of course, instant manifestation is, I guess, becoming more real to us, that we can actually believe in it. Now, I guess it depends, too, on what you call instant. Do you want to go, let me think, Honey Crunch ice cream? Because I love Honey Crunch ice cream. There it is on my hand. Or is instant manifestation, I guess I see it as anything that I can bring about in a week or two, I consider that instant manifestation. Because we're always going to have that little buffer of time anyway in between to make sure it's what we really, truly desire. So having had experience of this happen in my life, I definitely know it's for real and it is possible, and that you can heal anything, you can manifest anything if you truly believe in it. And as Bill said this morning in his workshop, ask once, let it go, and believe that it's possible, and give thanks for it. This instant manifestation too has really come into my mind in a big way, because we're now moving full on into our new great age, our golden age, or the age of Aquarius, depends on what you're calling it. But we have already moved into that. And in this golden age, things are different. And so we have to learn to move with the changes and move with the fact that manifestation is going to be a lot faster, and that we don't have to really sit around waiting for these things to happen, or begging, or pleading, or longing, or anything else. We have to totally understand that it's there for us. This golden age, yes, it is having an incredible effect on our world and the world around us. And we have to look at how this is impacting on our lives, and then we have to understand what we can do to roll with this quantum wave out into this beautiful ocean of infinite possibility. And this is where, my imagination just flows. I love the thought of that wave. And that wave can be whatever your imagination allows you to see it as. so long as you're riding that wave into infinite possibilities. Because everything that you can possibly desire to have in your life is already in that field of infinite possibilities. It's just waiting for you to believe that it's yours. So how is this golden age affecting our lives at the moment? Well, I guess in number one is the turmoil that is going in our own lives and in the world around us. You can see this happening. And if you haven't felt it in your own life, I think 99% of the population has in some way, shape or form. You can see it happening around you in the world with huge corporations collapsing, with the way we see the world. It's just not going to be that way any longer. And so how can we cope with this turmoil in our own lives? That's what we have to look at. And we have to stop and go, okay, change is inevitable. In fact, right in this moment in time in history, which is the most amazing time to be living in, most amazing, we just have to accept that change is part of this, and enormous change is part of this, not just little changes. And we have to roll with this change. And if we try and hang on to what we know of the past, and this is the way we did things, and this is the way we're going to keep doing them, it ain't gonna work. It's just not possible. We have to change, and we have to flow with this beautiful wave. How else could it be affecting you? Emotional roller coaster ride, I call it. 1 minute you are as high as a kite, floating in the clouds. Next minute you're down in the depths of the valley. And, well, maybe not for you men, sorry, but for us women, it's bursting into tears at the drop of a hat. No, it's not menopause, girls. It's not, okay? It's just that we're feeling the changes. You've got to understand that our DNA is changing. Science has proven this now. Our DNA is literally changing, and so is the DNA of Mother Earth. How could we not feel changes happening in our lives? It's impossible unless you're one of these amazing people that just kind of goes with it. We are human and we are physical beings. So, of course, we try sometimes to stop change. So if you're feeling that emotional roller coaster ride, you're not on your own. And that sometimes gives us a little bit of hope. We think, oh, well, it's not just me going crazy. So how do we cope with this? You sit in it. If it's an incredible ride as high as, sit in it and embrace it and love it and enjoy the ride. If it's in the depths of the depths, embrace it and enjoy it. Because as we embrace it and take it on board, guess what? It just dissipates. It goes and changes. So it's not that we have to hold on to it, but we need to ride with it and say to ourselves, yes, okay, I'm changing. So is everything else in this beautiful world. And what a beautiful world it's going to be. Well, it is already. The next thing, I don't know whether you've noticed or not, but, there's an urgency to get everything done today, right now. Because time as we have known it is not going to exist any longer. Now, science is telling us this too. Time just is not going to be the way it was. But of course, what do we try and do? We try and fit everything that we used to do in a world that's moving faster, where time is becoming less and less important. Now, I know that still in this world today, we have to get up in the morning and we have to go to work at a certain time. But instead of stressing over trying to fit everything into the day the way we used to do it, we've got to jump into that quantum field and go, there's an easier way of doing this. We don't have to do it the way we used to do it. We don't have to try and complete all these tasks in the way that we used to do it. So what do? Well, for me, the only thing that works for me these days is to say, Spirit, God, substance, whatever name you want to put to it, there is no way I'm going to handle everything that I have to do today. There just isn't enough time for me to do it the way I used to do it. So I'm putting you in charge. You're going to have to take control of this today. You're going to have to bring me these, what I'm writing, this has to just flow in an instant. You're going to have to put those things in place because I just don't have time to do it. And then I let it go. And guess what happens? In an instant. If I'm preparing for my radio show, it just flows. There it is. The image comes, the message from Nature Spirit comes, the whole idea just flows. So you have to just hand it over and stop trying to do it in the way you did it in the time that's just gone. Okay? And remember that, no, we don't have enough time because time is moving faster and faster. And of course, within that, manifestation is happening faster and faster. The other things, of course, you'll see is the economic and political instability. Either within, it could be political instability in your family, I don't know. But the economic instability of the whole world, it seems to be falling apart. And the whole political structure as we've known it seems to be falling apart too. Our new age demands integrity, trust, and living in cooperation and in oneness with everything. Now, I'm not just talking the people around you, I'm talking everything out there. So if you're finding in economic instability within your own life or upsets with relationships or whatever, you have to go back to square one and say, am I living with integrity? Am I living in a place of trust? Am I living in a place of cooperation with everyone around me? And am I living in a place of oneness? Because that's what the new golden age is all about. So we have to embrace those without fail. Otherwise, it's not going to work. So how do we go about all of this? I mean, how do we get this? Once we've known all of those things and we think, oh, okay, so this may not be just me. This is just me changing. My DNA is changing. And you will feel niggles. You will feel pain that you've never felt before. You'll feel this change within you happening. And you'll go, oh, where did that come from? That sharp pain or something. It's because you're changing. Not because you're getting older. Come on. I can hear you saying it to yourselves. Yes, it's only because I'm getting older. No, some of it is just got to do with what's changing in our lives. So to help us along the road, there's a little bit of clearing of the channels, so to speak, that we have to do. And how do we go about this? Well, as you know, of course, I asked nature how I could go about this. How could I really get into the flow and have this instant manifestation become a total belief, part of my DNA structure, basically? How can I get it within me so that I don't have to worry about anything? I don't have to think about the hows or the whys. I just follow the simple basic steps of ask and give thanks. Let it go. That's all I have to do. So there are certain things that we can do to help the process. And the first one is, I'll just read the little note as we go. Today's note to self. Remember today to rest beneath a tree and allow it to fill my lungs with its sacred loving breath of life. How often do we get up in the morning, we run around like crazy, we jump in the car, off to work, home again, run around, get the dinner, and we haven't even taken time to take a deep breath? How often do we stand outside because that's the breath of life in that tree. It holds everything that we could ever need. How often do you stand beneath a tree and breathe of that sacred breath of life that it's offering you every day? How often do you thank a tree for what it brings to our lives? How often do we just take them for granted? So, 3 deep breaths a day. Get rid of that stale air out of your lungs and breathe deeply of the sacred breath of this beautiful tree. Isn't that a gorgeous photo? I took that in Broken Hill when we were up visiting Jacinta and Matt and the kids. I just loved that. I love trees. Yeah, just beautiful. Okay, next. Oh, it's a bit hard to read that one, sorry. Today's note to self. Remember today that living in the moment opens my heart to magic and miracles. Now, Henry is always telling us to live in the now, live in the moment. But if we don't live in the moment, if we don't take some part of our day to go walking in nature and to live in the moment, look at every little cloud in the sky, to every particle of dust in the ground, because every single one of those and the spaces between hold that universal energy, that divine substance, the living spirit of life. And, you know, how often do we take notice of those things in our life? Or do we just wander thinking, oh my God, I still haven't done, and tomorrow I've got to do, and you know, that person today at work, I'm just going to kill them. You know how we go on and on in our minds, instead of just dropping it all and going, how beautiful is today? What can I look at today? What can I embrace? Because if I embrace this, I am embracing the spirit of nature, which is the God nature within all things and within me. Next thing we can do, today's note to self. Remember today that gratitude spreads a golden glow throughout my heart and the hearts of the world. Okay, so if we can just give gratitude, 5 minutes every day of giving gratitude in the moment. Okay? So try and do it in the moment, like when you have your dinner put in front of you. I'm so grateful, first of all, for this beautiful food, that I would be able to have it. So many people can't around the world at the moment. So grateful to all the farmers that grew it. So grateful for all the men or women who drove this to a supermarket in order for me to be able to go and buy it. So grateful for the money that I have to obtain this. Or if you're out in the garden, we love to grow our own veggies. I know a lot of you do. So grateful that I have the soil and the sun and the air and everything else that's needed to grow these vegetables. Because it's God within those things that we're grateful for. Next way of clearing the channels, we're doing well here. Today's note to self. Remember today that my heart is truly blossoming when I can shed tears of joy at the beauty of nature. Don't you love these two little toadstools? Just sitting there, just enjoying the day, the dewdrops on top. I think it had rained, and I'd caught them just after the rain. And they're just so beautiful. You know, look, I know I get a bit carried away, but I could sit for half an hour and just meditate on the beauty within that image. It is just so beautiful. I think that's why it takes me a long time to go walking every day and get back again. So, but it's finding the joy in everything in life. Finding the joy in the little things, okay? Not in necessarily the big things, but in the little things of life. And they're all around us. And imagine what you're attracting to yourself if you can find the joy in those little things. Because those two little toadstools, mushrooms, whatever they are, if they feel your joy, imagine how they're going to vibrate joy as well and bring to you more things to be joyful about. Oh, it is so exciting. Okay, thanks. Oh, this is a big one too. What are we putting into our bodies? Because a golden age, yes, insists on healthy food. Remember today, filling my body with junk food clogs the flow of life and happiness. Now, I don't necessarily mean going out to Macca's or to anything else, if you call that junk food. I'm just talking about the normal everyday things. What are you filling your body with? And if you're going to move into this beautiful new age with ease and grace, you have to become so aware. And your body is probably already telling you this. I bet a lot of you have already discovered that there are certain things these days, if you eat them, you feel lousy. Because it's just clogging up the flow. And a new system, new body, is not going to accept them. So you've got to have a look at what am I eating every day? Because what I'm eating is certainly going to affect the flow of, this universal flow through me. Today's note to self. Remember today that my body sparkles when it is replenished with the purest living waters. I know we love coffee, we love tea, we love all those little beverages that come in taller bottles. How much water do you drink and what quality of water do you drink? It is another enormous, we know from all that we've studied in metaphysics that our body is 99% water or whatever it is, or 90%, I'm not sure which one it is. But water, if we don't fill our bodies with the purest and cleanest water that we can come across, then, we're filling it with junk again. So you have to be very careful, and we have to have a certain amount of water every day. And love that water as it goes in. Bless it. Today's note to self. Remember today that to serve is to reach out and touch someone with love. We have to work in cooperation and love with everybody around us and with everything around us. So, so important. Now, the wisest of us all know that in the stillness is where we truly discover self, and we truly discover that sacredness that lies within each and every one of us. And so, remember today, it is in the stillness that my soul dances with all that is and all that ever will be. And this is a beautiful image of the lake at Ruffy Lake Park in Doncaster. Meditation, or sitting in that stillness, is how we clear the channels and allow that beautiful universal energy, or whatever you call it, to flow through us easily and effortlessly. Because we get out of the way and we don't have to think about, how are we going to do this, or when are we going to do this, or why, and all of that. Okay, so we've cleared the channels. Got all of that, everybody? That's easy, isn't it? Yeah, it's easy. I've been looking at, and I have to keep watching the time. Oh, Bill, am I going over? Sorry. I always do this, don't I? I'll make it really fast. This is the one that really tells us how we are going to manifest instantly, okay? This is how we do instant manifestation. Science is now telling us, perhaps if I read the little note first. Remember today that my heart speaks a powerful language which creates miracles. It is the gateway to our dreams. This is a little leaf on the path that's been squashed and battered and torn, and yet it's still willing to bring us the most beautiful message of love. How incredible is nature? And in the middle of that, you can see a little golden dot of pollen that has fallen. And it's sitting right in the centre of that heart-shaped leaf. I don't need to tell you what that little golden dot is, do I? The divine love that is sitting within our hearts, waiting to be recognised and embraced. That's all it takes. So we go about this. Now, we had a quote from Greg Braden earlier, and he tells us now, through science, all scientific now, so, you know, we don't have to think it's hocus pocus or anything else. Our heart has this incredible electronic and magnetic field, okay? In fact, they have now discovered scientifically that the heart, its electronic field is 50 times more powerful than a thought, okay? So if you think your thoughts are important, yes, they are. The heart has a magnetic field which is 6,000 times more powerful than a thought. Imagine if we combined a thought with that power of our heart. Just imagine. So how do we go about this? Very simply, and it is simple. It's just so simple. We just get caught up in our whole, you know, this is difficult. No. We close our eyes, go into our hearts, just bring our awareness to our hearts. We know, we set an intention of what it is that we desire to see happen in our lives. So we set that intention, because an intention is a clear statement. Universe, this is what I desire. Okay? Whatever it might be, it could be health, wealth, happiness, I don't know what it is for you. You set your clear intention. You go into your heart. You conjure up within your heart the feeling that you have already received what it is that you desire, the intention that you have set. So, if it's feelings of happiness, or if it's feelings of joy, or if it's feelings of love, whatever it is, you feel that in your heart and you radiate that out into that quantum field, or into that wave of infinite possibilities. And then you let it go. And you say, as we have said for centuries here at Unity, and so it is. It is already done. Do you have to think about it anymore? No. You just have to give gratitude that it's already done. You know this. But I guess for me it was knowing scientifically as well, this is how it works. You know, that little magnetic field sends out, and they've already discovered now scientifically that when I send a feeling out towards Ralph, they've measured it at least 3 metres away, that vibration. Now, if Ralph is sending out feelings, of joy, if I'm sending out feelings of joy, my feelings of joy magnetise with his feelings of joy because he's radiating this way as well. And together they send out to everybody else who's feeling joy. Can you imagine what we're magnetising to ourselves? It is just amazing. Don't you love it? Yes. So, I'm going to stop now. That's it. I've said enough. So, today you can go home and you can go, what is it that I want today? Now, if it doesn't happen in an instant, let it go. Remember, the universe has just got to get together all the stuff to bring it to you as a surprise. Never happens without a surprise. Boy, have I had surprises in the last few weeks. Amazing surprises. So, thank you so much for listening. It is always an honour to be here.